All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I've got a guest joining on today, which should be fun. A little bit of banter, and just want to thank everybody for joining. We've got a few people joining, so be sure to say hi. Be sure to do all the usual YouTube stuff, like the stream. Always helps out. Hit that like button. I could get that out of the way. This is the third live stream in a row. So we've been having a lot of fun the last couple of days. So I figured we keep doing it. We typically go on. I'm on the West Coast here, 8 o'clock. So go on for an hour before the day starts. Starts for me anyways. Some people may be at work, so we do have a few of the regulars already back. Jason, thanks for coming back. Yeah, it's great. It's great to see it. Great to have you. I'm going to talk about a few things today. There is. Let's just pull up. I've got to switch my sharing screen. This is kind of happening today, which is always kind of interesting. Let's just pull that up. Well, it's never good news with the Canadian dollar falls. Bank of Canada governor's speech today, so that might be kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. It's the rate announcement's not coming up until October 26th. And then just reading here, just kind of looking to see what's going to happen in terms of rates and whether we're still going to keep feeling the pain of raising interest rates. But the market looks like it's discounted, looking at a 25 basis point hike right now, and a 50% chance of a larger increase of 50 basis points. So let me know what you think. Is it going to be 25? I've been kind of talking to a few friends, and I'm kind of thinking it's going to take a little bit of it's not going to take a pause, I don't think, by any means. But I think the increases will probably maybe slow down a little bit. We'll see how that happens. But let me know your thoughts on that. And good morning, Bill. Good day to you as well. Welcome to the live stream. I think it's the first time I've seen your comment, I think. So welcome. It's always nice to have new people. We're starting to get new people every day, which is a lot of fun. So it's great to have everybody here. Yeah, definitely. The title of the topic today is, what are you buying today? And nothing from me, I guess, other than my usual daily. I do my daily, like, little. When I say little, it's very little purchase of Bitcoin that I do on Shakepay, just to kind of slowly build on that. But that's it. No purchases into the TFSA at all. And as promised, my buddy Rob is on. So let's add Rob. We'll chat about this Bank of Canada thing that's happening here. He's always got something good to say. So let's bring Rob on and say welcome. There we go. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. So Rob's been on the channel before. We've got thousands of viewers watching us, Rob, in front of you. So it's always good. I don't know and this is going to be a good topic for us to talk about, because we talk about this almost every day when we bug each other on the phone. And I don't know if you saw it because I just pulled it up, but I can see if I can still share all three of us. So let's just see here. And I can. So this article it's happening in your time. So Bank of Canada governor's speech today at 11:30 Eastern time. So that's
it's in a half an hour.
It's in a half an hour, so we can maybe hear what he's going to have to say, or read. It looks like it's pre-prepared. What do you think it's going to be? Doom and gloom, or it's going to
scroll up? Let me see the headline.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the Canadian dollar falls as investors brace for Bank of Canada governor's speech. Tiff Macklem. So it's not the rate announcement or anything like that, but he's going out there to say what? Is it going to be good or is it going to be bad?
It's good. I think it's going to be more of the same. I think it's going to be
good, bad news.
I think it's going to be, signs of inflation are of slowing are there, but we're not stopping. Like, they can't stop, right? They've let it go too far. The Canadian dollar's getting beaten up, but
what currency isn't, though, right?
The only one that seems to not be getting beat up is the greenback, and everything else is hurting because of that. Yeah. which is funny as we laugh, which is funny in itself, because they're not without their issues south of the border with OPEC announcement, and now we're reading about them lifting some sanctions off of Venezuela.
They're buddies now.
Oh, everybody's friends. Let's come to the table. We were just joking. We kind of need you to help us out, which is so bizarre, but here we are. Also, sidebar, isn't it weird how we may know a country, Scott and I both may know a country that has some pretty decent reserves ourselves, but, we'll get beaten with a stick if we talk about the potential that Canada has to get on this.
That's the problem. We talk about a lot. It's like we're 10 years behind, right?
We really are. I saw a chart this morning on Twitter that showed the energy generation by China, America, the EU. I can't remember who the fourth country was. Anyway, China's energy production, if we're talking about energy like electricity energy, I believe, it was like a landslide coal-generated electricity, like a huge amount, like just way more than you could ever imagine. America's, oddly enough, has a lot from natural gas, a lot of electricity produced via natural gas, but China's just like huge amount of coal, and their natural gas production was very, very small. Electricity by ways of natural gas. And then renewables. I think hydroelectric was lumped into that renewables because they have a lot of water dams and
they have a lot of that as well.
Yeah. They're not overly concerned about flooding the countryside to get some a dam up and running. But anyway, back to the greenback in Venezuela. We're living in some very, very interesting times, aren't we?
Yeah, it's definitely different out there. That's for sure. We talk about that a lot, just with everything. And here we go. Yeah, it's Justin. Good. That's a perfect comment.
One day we finally accept nuclear. Yeah. Well, funny, Justin. Mark Carney, who is the former governor of the Bank of Canada, right here in Canada, and I believe, am I getting that right?
Yeah.
And went to the Bank of England, and now is pretty prominent in those ESG circles with, environmental awareness. He's come out and basically said, like, the only way forward for clean energy, it has to have nuclear in the conversation,
in the mix somewhere.
Period. Yeah, and. Should we be building nuclear power plants on the fault lines of Japan or in California or Vancouver? Probably not, but there are very, very stable areas. And Scott and you and I talk about this all the time about how vast Canada is. Like, there's hundreds of thousands of square kilometers in the middle of nowhere that I'm sure these plants could be built that are not going to be fault lines, no earthquakes, maybe some snow. But that is definitely part of the conversation is nuclear.
Yeah. So it's not going to get any cheaper for anybody. Fear money. Yeah, it's true, Justin. Good point. Yeah,
that's true.
That's what it is.
I mean, and there's some validity to that, right? Like, there is some valid concerns about what happens when these systems get triggered, and maybe there's some safety concerns there, but. I worked before I became a mortgage broker, I was in the automation manufacturing world, and our company actually helped do a lot of the retooling of the Bruce power plant here in Ontario. Man, it's no joke. It's like high tech equipment doing all this work. So it's there's a lot of safety to it. That's for sure. I can understand the safety concerns. And what are we going to do with the nuclear waste? I mean, what are we doing with our waste anyway? Our whole household waste is going into clear plastic bags, and we're dumping them into a pit in the ground and covering them with dirt anyway. My goodness.
It's so true.
Yeah,
it's like, well, you just put it out on Monday.
The magic cloud monster comes and gobbles it up and takes it away, and it's just magically gone. It disappears. Don't have to worry about it.
Don't have to worry about it. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about it seeping into the water sources. Nah, it's fine.
So, well, let alone, I think Canada I mean, I think it probably depends on different municipalities and provinces and what the heck happens with everything. But you go to other places and they literally just burn it. So are we really in the big picture, like you said? Look at China, and all the energy they're producing from dirty sources, right? Look at what they're probably doing with their garbage, and we're just such a blip in the map. If we make we recycle our plastic bottle, but is it really? I don't know. I've said it before. Is it really doing anybody any favors if we're still driving a car?
I bet you half of the garbage you recycle doesn't even make it to a recycling facility to get
It probably doesn't.
chewed up and remade into a widget. It probably doesn't.
No.
But it's better for humans. I will say this: it's better for humans to put their stuff into a blue bin and have it taken away, because if they didn't have that option, and litter in general, the land side would be just littered with garbage, like everywhere. Like you'd go out your house and there'd be garbage everywhere. So we've got to be trained to do some things for the greater good of everybody. Yeah.
And then that's a good point from Justin. Always good. No one talks
about waste. I'm starting to think Justin has shares in like oil and mining. I love it. It's true. It's true. Nobody wants to talk about little 8-year-old kids scratching out this cobalt in a mine in the middle of Africa, but that's, there's the yin and the yang of everything. There's green energy, alternative energy solutions, or environmentally safe stuff. Yeah, we should be moving towards that, but let's not cloud the waters with what actually has to. That's what has to go into making that stuff work. Yeah,
that's true, right? Like we don't think about that. It's all great to be green, but you still got to build them.
Yeah, where's the copper? Where's the copper coming from? Where's the lithium and the cobalt and all of that stuff? Where's it all coming from?
Yeah. Okay, so he doesn't own oil.
Yeah, it's true. All of these things have to be talked about. So the good and the bad of everything. But these are hard conversations that, going back to that whole take your garbage to the curb. Nobody wants to have those. Nobody wants to think that they're part of the problem. So anyway, the Bank of Canada, I don't know. I think it's going to be, there's no way that they can let their foot off the gas. If he comes out today and says, guess what, inflation's down, times are really tough, we're just going to hold off on these rate increases and maybe even start coming backwards. Like,
it's not going to happen.
It's not happening. No. It's not happening. They have to keep going.
Yeah, but I think we're kind of going like we've been talking. I'm thinking 20. I was saying this just before you came on the stream. I'm kind of predicting kind of like 25 basis points.
Oh, in October?
Next time. So they're going to slow it down. So I think it's going to start to be like bad. Like it's still going to be bad news, right? It's still, rates are going up. It's not good for people that have a lot of debt or mortgage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a car loan, that kind of thing. But it's like it's better than the 1% and the 75 basis points we've been seeing. So it's like slowing down, which is like good bad news because we kind of see maybe a bit of light at the end of the tunnel.
I think so. I think we're entering a stage now where our parents had experienced as children, and their parents, being our grandparents, had to live through, which is, you buy a home, you're going to live in that home for 40 years. There's none of this huckabuck flipping a home every 5 years because you got a beautiful hairdo and you're on HGTV. Like, you make sure the home's good, make sure it's in a great neighborhood, schools, hospitals, work, whatever. Get into the house, pay down your debts, live in the house for 40 years. Like, remember that generation? There was a grandparent generation. They never moved. When you went to grandma's house, you knew exactly where grandma lived because she never moved. They bought that house when they were 20. She died in that house. You know what I mean? Like, we're going back to that now. There's none of this like, oh, we moved to the west side of the city now, or we bought over here. No, those days are over for the short term anyway. Costs are high. Costs of homes are high. Cost of borrowing is high. And cost of everything is high. Like, your grandparents came out of a generation that was born after, born at the beginning of the 20th century, but survived the war, survived depression, survived 2 wars, by the way, survived the depression, like war rations, this is the world that I don't think it's going to get that crazy. But what I'm saying is, like, we've lived such a fantastically free lifestyle in the West for so long, that, and by the way, anybody watching this, I am pro capitalism or democracy and all that good stuff. But I just think we've had it really easy for a really long time. And now we got to pull up our socks, and we got to taste what our parents and grandparents went through. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to eat the whole loaf of bread today, right? You're going to make that loaf last a week.
You make choices, right?
That's it. Oh, we want a new car. Tough shit. Fix the car you have.
It's funny. I was looking. Sorry, I'm gonna go. I can't maybe find it, but I have. It's funny you say war. It's funny you say war rations, because if I can find them here.
Scott's secretly got a wall of spam. Canned meat.
I have a big box of old negatives that I picked. It's totally sidetracked, but getting into war rations. I have a bunch of old negatives that my grandfather, because he was a photographer as well. Yeah. So I'm just kind of going through them and scanning them. But as I was sorting through them, now I can't find it, obviously. I came across from my grandma. No, I can't find it. It's like a big pile. It's her ration, one of her ration books.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be great to see.
I don't know. It's a big box here. Hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'll give you a topic. Coffee cake.
See if I can find it. Yeah, I can't find it. It's in here somewhere.
That's all right. Or if you're just joining us here, one of the millions of people joining us today live on Scott's channel, he's digging through. Got a hot mic. It sounds like you're putting rocks into a blender.
No good. I can't find it.
You'll have to find it.
I'll bring it on the next one. It's too funny. They did have a thing though. It's funny to talk about more like loans and everything else, right?
Yep.
They have this. It's green, so you're not gonna be able to see it.
Oh no.
Because I'm on a green screen. It's too funny. They have basically a invoice.
Okay.
Where they purchase like dinner set, like pots, pans, like a whole dinner set with and wooden spoon. They must. So I'm gonna guess like this is from 1940.
Wow.
And I'm gonna guess it must have been from. They probably got like someone must have been. It must have been for somebody getting married or something, because there's literally like a pie plate, a griddle. It's like something that you would buy someone as a wedding gift. It almost seems like.
Wow.
And the total price for like this whole kitchen set of like mixing bowls, pots and covers, all that kind of stuff. Whole dinner set was $55. Tea kettle, like all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Wow. You should keep that.
Green.
Keep that.
Yeah, I'll keep those. Cool. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Anyways, yeah.
Well, that's how things are going to go.
Yeah. So rations, because it's true. You think about what you're buying now. Like I do the curbside grocery pickup, and you look in when you're ordering stuff, and you sent me a message the other day going, go here to buy butter because it was on sale. I looked yesterday to buy butter, and I was like, I'm not buying butter.
How much was it? Do you remember for a pound?
It was
like $7.99 a pound or something crazy.
No,
depending on where you go.
It wasn't that much. It was Superstore, which is your Loblaws.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up here. I took it off the cart. I didn't even butter. Pound of butter, $6.49. That was it's up to $2.
Yeah. So this is the big joke about the Bank of Canada and inflation, right? Like, just to bring it back to this, is CPI is 7 or 8% or whatever, whatever number you want to make up. It's not really that. We all know it's 10, 15, 20%. But it still is expensive. And even though that CPI might start coming down, do you think butter is going to go back down to $4.99 anytime soon? It's not happening. All of the inputs of these costs, the feed for the cattle, the diesel to get the trucks there, the electricity bills for the factory that's going to package the butter, the grocery store staff, like all of these are knock-on effects of these costs that are not going to go away. So as much as TIFF has been loving saying it's and everybody for that matter, it's a transitory cost or transitory inflation. What transitory? Scott, I'm going to give you a raise today. You're making 50 grand a year. I'm going to give you a raise today to $75,000 a year. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, fast forward 1 year, Scott. Life's really easy now, and we don't need to pay you that much. We're going to knock you down to 50,000. That's not happening. You're not going to do it. You're going to go find a job for 75K somewhere else. This is the same with grocery bills. And people that say that these corporations are being greedy by adjusting these prices. Yeah, there's obviously some history of that with the Loblaws and the bread and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you think you can do it for better and cheaper, go to your local farmers market and do all your shopping there. I'm pretty sure you're going to find that your grocery bill is going to double by doing that, right? Yeah, listen, I'm a big fan of farmers markets. Scott, you know this about me. I'm a big fan of like market garden vegetables that are organically grown by farmer, like all of that's, I get it. That's not my point. My point is it's like the devil that you know is better than the one that you don't, right? Like, yeah, the grocery bills are getting expensive at the grocery stores, but what are your other options?
Yeah.
You want to go buy a 3-pack of Joe Fresh underwear at Loblaws for $10, or do you want to go get one like that's handmade by Tibetan monks with reused cotton from, like pick and choose your battles, I guess. But yeah, that's what I think. I think TIF's going to make that announcement. They're not going back on that rate. They might slow it down a little bit.
Here's one for you here. We've talked about this a little bit. Good point, Justin. I hope the younger generation, it's a wake up call. You can't get everything you want the second you want it. It's true. We were spoiled. It's credit summed up right there.
It's credit. It's a North American state of mind. I'd like to think that the 18 to 25-year-old is going to realize that, but they've been conditioned by their parents to or to not think that way. So it's a generational thing, right? And until they don't have it, I hope that we all do that, but I just don't have faith that generally North Americans will know.
They have to do a better job, I think, in teaching in schools. Well, at home too. It's home too, because everybody wants to drive the latest and greatest, car. You drop your kid off at school. You need the biggest. You need the new SUV,
baddest SUV,
the nicest,
oh yeah, baby.
Brand new.
Yep.
Someone's going to care what you're driving around.
Yep. Yeah, that's how it is.
And that works in, right? Because again, that's what happens. The kids see the other families with what they think is a nicer car, but not realizing. Well, anybody can kind of get that car. You just have to go and pay for it every month.
100%. So I grew up in a blue collar home. Both my parents never finished high school, worked at a factory their whole life. And they always said that to me. As long as I can remember. Rob, your father and I could go out and buy a brand new Ferrari today if we wanted to, but you got to be able to make the payments. Car financing, as we know, in the mortgage world, you just fog up a piece of glass or a mirror and they'll give you a car loan. It literally is that ridiculous. You just tell them what you make, they plug it in, there's no income verification, and all of a sudden you're on the hook for this $1,200 a month payment. It's a depreciating asset. It's going to be worth zero one day. But you're right. Like kids at the high school, their kids are coming in driving $60,000 vehicles, like kids 17, 18 years old. Like it's crazy. So I think that there you go. It's the old soft times create soft. Yep. Yeah. That's a great quote. Jocko Willenick, I think, has been saying that for a little while yet. It's true. And that's men and women. Like, you see old European women who have seen hard times. They are tough women. They are tough because they've lived through really, really hard times. And so going back to that, I don't know that we'll see 2% rates ever again.
Probably not.
Monetary policy in the world is a joke. Buy Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. Yeah, where it's going to get real crazy real soon. That's for sure.
I think it is. Yeah. I don't know. Could be wrong.
We could be wrong. We could be just looking at this video a year from now and go, man, did we
What are we?
totally missed the boat on that.
What were we talking?
Mm-hmm.
What do you buy? That's the problem. I guess with the investment channel, it's like, what do you buy? I don't know.
You know, honestly, what you buy, I think what you buy is you pay down your debts first.
Yeah.
Pay your debts down first as quickly as you can.
Especially now.
If you're in a mortgage right now at 1.89%, you're going to be up for renewal in a year or two. It's going to get real painful real fast. So, mind your debts, get your debts in order, and start to invest when, we're kind of in a down market now, right? It seems like a really good time to buy, but maybe we're not even at the bottom. Like maybe what the worst is yet to come.
That's always the big thing, right? And you can't time it. It's like timing interest rates when you're getting a mortgage. You can't time anything. Just average into what you're comfortable with and
totally
hope for the best.
Totally. What do you buy? Like, I don't know. Do you go in this era? Do you go the Warren Buffett route and just buy Colgate and Johnson and Johnson and toilet paper and Coca-Cola kind of stocks that people are going to need to buy, right? Maybe not Coca-Cola, but you don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, real interesting.
Yeah, there was a post on Twitter I saw this morning talking about timing markets and everything else, and a big chunk of retail investors now are getting into shorts, and that his theory is because that's happening, we're at the
bottom.
We're at the bottom. As soon as
everybody thinks we're not quite at the bottom, but we might be there.
As soon as everybody, it's like as soon as
do the opposite of everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's buying is shorting at this time. Then maybe we are at the bottom.
Yeah, that was his kind of. There was an article. I'd have to dig it up. It's always hard to find the Twitter stream once it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was talking about kind of that. That was his theory. So who knows? Nobody knows, because something can happen tomorrow and it changes everything, right? For the worse.
Oh God.
Right? Like it just you just don't know. Not to sound. We always turn doom and gloom on the. I don't mean to turn doom and gloom on the chat, but.
Well, okay. Well, let's lay out what's going on. You've got central banks in Europe on fire. I think I read a headline last night about potentially mortgage relief in the UK. Like I feel like I saw something about mortgage payments, like kind of what we went through in Canada with the deferrals and
deferral or something.
But something to do with like high costs in Europe. I'm not sure. You've got the obvious conflict going on over in Eastern Europe. That's not going to be going away anytime soon. At least we don't think it is. You've got oil. You've got OPEC, and they're very loud and clear about America manipulating the markets in the world for quite a long time. We have to remember, like, not to shit on our friends to the south, but a lot of countries around the world know and realize that they don't have the cleanest track record, let's just say. So there's that going against them. You've got North Korea now playing with projectiles over Japan. That's not great. You've got China that is, they've got this tiny little island off the coast as well that they might be interested in doing something with. It's a very, very peculiar time now.
Yeah.
And pay your debts.
Like, and you've said it before. We've said it before. It's like a giant chess match.
100%.
It's just kind of like
100%
that you really don't know how to play.
100%.
You can watch it.
And guess what? We can't play it. We're off on the sidelines watching it play because we don't have a seat at that table.
Yeah.
And the people that do have seats at those tables are like, it's very calculated moves. Energy. I mean, everything at the end of the day, it comes down to energy, whether it's monetary energy or fuel energy. It's all energy. And that's the real play. It's like, who holds the power with the energy, whether it's money, whether it's, food. Like, this is, anyway, pay your debts, folks.
Yeah.
Pay your debts. What can we do in Canada? I don't know. We can get out to the polls and vote the next time there's an election.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Not to get into politics. I'm not very political, but that'll be interesting next time. But then again, more of the same. Like, I'm like delusional is the wrong word. I'm not delusional about the politics, but it's kind of like, in the big picture, I don't know if it actually really. It's bad to say maybe it doesn't affect me, but does it really?
Well, that's why 60% of the people don't go.
Oh, I vote. Yeah. I vote.
Yeah.
I always make an effort to go vote, but sure. I just it's typical Canada. It just kind of, one party gets in for
5 to 7 years. Yeah.
7 years later, everybody gets sick of them, and they go to the other one, and then rinse, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
And does anything?
And it goes one way to the other. Like, it's the pendulum swings wildly. There's no middle of the road anymore.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I have, I don't know. I don't follow it enough to have a really strong opinion either way. I just kind of I don't want to say apathetic, 'cause that's the wrong word too, but it maybe sounds like I am, but I don't know. I just, end of the day, live my life.
Joel.
So Joel, welcome to the channel. I think first time commenting.
Thoughts on holding on to cash versus dollar cost averaging down in these crazy times? I'm a fan of continuing to buy, but curious to hear your thoughts. Scott, you can take the lead on that one.
That one. There's nothing wrong with having cash in the bank. It's provided it's as we get doom and gloom, provided it's not in a country that takes your cash, right? Sorry, Rob. But let's assume you're in Canada and it's fairly safe. You're getting a decent interest rate now, better than the last 15 years, pretty much, in a savings account. If you hunt around, you can get a decent, 2% maybe, just for having it sit there. If you hit the GICs, like some of the 1 or 2 year GICs are paying 4%, so that's decent, I guess. And then I would just, what I'm doing is basically, I have savings and I'm just dollar cost. I'm just slow. I've slowed down doing any like big. If you follow the channel, you kind of know I haven't done any like big deposits. It's just slow and steady. So I do dollar cost average down. It's crazy times, yeah, but you just hope that it will eventually change around. So continuing to buy as well. That's my thought. I don't know if Rob, if you have any insight to that. And Joel is from Canada, so doesn't have to rob his own money out of the bank.
I would say that I think having some cash under the mattress is good. Like literally holding onto your cash. How much, I'm not sure, right? Like, I guess that comes down to your lifestyle and your expenses, but I think having cash under the mattress is good. I just as far as like getting in the market, I'm not savvy enough to even comment on that. I do think having a plan is better than no plan at all, right? Like, so if you're new into like, so when people were getting into home financing at 1.5, 1.8, 1.9, 2% mortgage rates, there was a real debate there on what you should do with your extra cash. Because at those rates at like 1.99 or 2%, let's say, for every dollar you put into a prepayment into your mortgage, you'd save about $1 in interest over the lifetime of the mortgage. So the question there becomes, is your 10 grand that you're going to make a prepayment in, is it going to make you more than 10 grand over the next 20 to 25 years if you invested it at that time, right? There's probably a good argument back then that it would have, right, with some decent returns. So maybe it wasn't worth prepaying your mortgage to do that. Now with 5% rates, man, like, I think it's good to have a plan to figure out what you want to do and your age and how much growth is anticipated over the next couple of years.
There's lots of variables, right? It's tough to always say like one
Totally.
cookie cutter fits for one person, doesn't.
Totally.
But he does have a point. Like timing, it's impossible. So if you're waiting with, this is the whole thing. You have you have let's just say you have $1,000
$1,000. Yep.
in your savings account sitting
Yep.
there, great, making 2%, 1.5%,
Yep.
depending where you are. Great. Timing the market, you got to time the bottom, which is impossible. So you're better off just kind of putting it in slowly. Just try, if you set it, I kind of just set it like every week to kind of put it into my. I mean, I have different investments. Obviously, TFSA is a bit different, but I have a like RSP every 2 weeks. Times with payday, it just sends a chunk over there, and it does it itself.
Yeah.
So I think that's
I
think that's the way to go long term. Because I mean, I'm not a smart investor in terms of like being able to time these things. It's impossible. The regular person doesn't know how to do it, so why try, right?
I agree. I think having a plan is better than no plan at all.
Right.
And if you've got, if you've got that $1,000, just what are your goals? What do you want to do? Do you have debt? Do you not have debt? If you don't have debt, man, how do you want to slice this up? Do you want to go 40, 40, 20, like 40 into cash, 20 into cash, 40 into growth, 40 into a GIC? I don't know. Like some plans better than none, right?
Yeah.
I think taking all of it and betting it on red or black and then coming up green is not great. Not to gamble stuff away, but
yeah. So that's what he's doing. So every Friday adds a little bit to his TFSA. Yeah. And it's hard, it's really hard to know what to put, I mean, it really is hard to know what to invest in, because if you look at what's happening right now. We've just talked about everything that's happening in the world, the markets, everything is just in
turmoil. It seems.
If you had a conservative, like I think of my mom and dad, right? Conservative investors in their 80s, probably all in bonds.
Oof.
And those are supposed to be safe, right? So what do you put your money in? And meanwhile, people are saying, well, Bitcoin's down X amount. Well, look at bonds. They're down 20%. Look at anything. So it's hard. It's such a, this is the thing. Like if someone's starting, like actually starting to invest today, I think it's probably good because the prices are all down, but it would definitely be very scary.
Yeah.
It's scary for me I've been doing it for years, because you're looking at it going like, yikes. But you just look and think in the long term, this hopefully keeps going. It always comes back. The world keeps moving.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's as much as we say that the world, it's a rigged game. There are still people profiting off of that rigged game if it is actually rigged. So one way or another, there's money to be made. It just depends on, how long there's so many variables, how much time you have to wait, and how much money you've got to invest. And I don't know.
Yeah. There's no one size fits all. And I guess if we're, I always like to say, like, I'm not a financial planner by any means, and everybody's different. So there's a lot of information out there. Just start searching, and you'll find it. You'll find what works for you, right? Because everybody's got a different. I mean, I have a completely different risk tolerance than I know Rob does, but we have also completely different situations in terms of family and whatever, right? It just everybody is so different with what they're comfortable doing. And what they invest in is everybody's different. There's no right or wrong, really. I don't think so. Some people don't like investing in oil because it's bad, and some people, whatever, right?
Sure.
Whatever you want to put your money in, as long as it's legal.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And you're not scamming anybody.
That's right.
So I'm just refreshing to see if they've announced anything here.
I think he's giving a speech out in Halifax.
I think So we'll have to probably come back
get
to
the notes. I don't know that it'll be recorded,
get it later on, but yeah. So we need some good news, because we're coming up to. We like to kind of go on for an hour. We're getting close to the hour. If there's any questions, a few people watching, Justin, I don't know if you're still watching, but if anybody has any more questions, let me know, or let Rob know. I like to try and find some good news to end this on. because we always seem to go into doom and gloom when the market's down on there. So let me search the news here. This is funny because the news headlines are always doom and gloom. Oh, here, this might be a. I'll pull this up. So maybe it's not all doom and gloom in the economy after all, because Amazon's hiring 150,000 workers for the holidays, similar to 2021.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So
150,000
to ramp up their I guess for the holiday season.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, that's good news. Who wants a part-time job?
There you go. I have a friend that works at Amazon, or a friend's husband works at Amazon in their fulfillment center.
Okay.
He loves it.
Does he, eh?
Yeah. Lots of work. Just goes in, just fulfills. It's like
go in, keep your head down, do your job, go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He can get shifts. Like he's like whenever. And it was, I think the last time I talked to him was last year, and he had worked over the holiday season and stuff like that. And he's just like, I'm fascinated
exhausted.
with, it's like, it's just nonstop. But he's like, you just work, you work. And he's like, I'm fascinated by the whole automation of the whole thing. Like how does the logistics of it all, right? Like how it gets to your house in a day it blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So he's part of that. I always said, oh, maybe pack my package.
It is it is quite crazy. It's crazy that you can order something and it just comes right away. Like my joke around the house is never pay for the expedited shipping. Always go standard, because it's always going to be on the same truck and plane anyway.
Yeah.
Like test this out.
Makes sense, actually. Oh, that's a good call. I have Amazon Prime, so I don't. I pay. I shouldn't say I don't pay for shipping. You do pay. It's just monthly because I use it a lot. But that's a good.
Test this out.
Okay.
Here's my experience.
Okay, go for it.
When you have a product that you have to pay for shipping and you've got to select a range of dates, there's usually like the free shipping is usually a week, but you can pay like $5 or $7 to go from 10 days to 7 days to 4 days, right? Just take the standard, you'll get it in 4 days. Like you just will. Unless it's like one of these products that's like really hokey and it's it's literally shipping from a vendor in China and then it's got to come all the way.
Yeah.
But if it's like a fairly North American-y type of product, just try it out. Just go standard and like see how long it takes to get to your door. Because my theory is like they're all coming on the same trucks anyway. Like you place the order, it goes into the queue, people are going to pick the order. And it usually comes about way sooner than
you think it's going to come.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good thing to try. With that. That's some good news.
That's the parting good news.
All right, so good. Well, as always, if there's no more questions coming in, that's okay. I know it's almost time to get back to work. Thanks for coming on, Rob. It's always fun to talk about.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Ramble on about stuff. So if you want to drop out, I know you probably are. You're farther along in your day than I am. I haven't started yet.
It's almost noon here.
It's almost time for your lunch, probably.
That's right.
If you want to jump off, feel free.
All right.
I'll carry on for a bit until 9 because I saw you typing there. So
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. Thanks everybody for watching.
Appreciate it. Talk to you later. All right. Well, thanks everybody. We'll stick on for a few more minutes. If anybody has any questions, we can go. It's always nice to end things. Big thanks to Rob for coming on. Thanks, Joel. We'll be kicking around for a little bit more. We always go till about 9 o'clock. My work day doesn't start till about 9. So I will jump on after, or jump off at 9. We'll go. Yeah, all good. It's always fun to see new people jumping on and saying hi and getting some insight. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. I'm trying to get some more guests on. I know it's not always everybody's, depending on the topic, not everybody. It kind of always sidetracks when you're talking with a buddy, but always some different insights for sure than mine, and go from that. Yeah, I will. Let me see if there's any other news coming out. We're waiting on the Bank of Canada to kind of speak, but it hasn't popped up on anywhere yet. So I'll have to kind of figure out what's coming from that. But it's probably the news we think it's going to be. Rates still going to go up. And I guess we can look at them. I haven't been looking at the market a lot this morning. I'm trying to get away from looking at it every day, but it's down a bit today. It was yesterday. I know yesterday was like a seesaw, up and down, up and down. Tomorrow being Friday, I'll probably do my deposit into the TFSA. I haven't done that for a little bit, but payday coming up, so that's kind of when I decide to make a small deposit. We'll see. On that note, though, I have my car insurance is due in the middle of this month, so it's always tight with when you get these bills that are yearly that you don't necessarily, they're coming, but they don't. They creep up on you, and all of a sudden it's there, and you're like, I gotta insure this again. So I will have to do that. So that will impact, what I have to be able to put into my TFSA, unfortunately, but it's what it is. Got to drive every once in a while. So I'm just still thankful I don't drive to work every day and have to pay for gas, as we talk about gas being so expensive. And that's let's see. Just keep refreshing on the Yahoo, just to refresh to see if we get that update from the Bank of Canada, but nothing yet. It always seems to be a bit delayed. And let's check out. All right. Let's see what are the only thing up to date pretty much on the portfolio is the Bitcoin is up today, and the Vanguard S&P is up a little bit today, so that's good. It's my main one. Let's pull that up. This is always the there we go. Bring that on. So that's up a little bit today. Doing okay. We'll have to do an update on the. I haven't done a formal update on the portfolio for a little bit now. Been going on the live streams every morning just to kind of come on. Yeah, it said 11:35 on the article I was reading, but maybe it's not till Eastern time. Okay, so it's probably any time now. It's probably like going to be starting and then going on. So probably by 20 minutes after it's kind of gone, it'll. From my understanding, it's all kind of pre-scripted remarks or whatever. So it'll probably get posted right away. It's always interesting to see. It's probably, like we've talked about, nothing, not going to be great news. Not going to be parties in the streets, I don't think. Because I think they want to keep the momentum going in terms of like keeping the foot on rates increasing. So they're not going to be too joyous and optimistic when he's doing his speech. I don't think it'll be more of a warning, but maybe like less of a warning to what's ahead, because those rate increases were big, especially if you have loans of any kind, variable loans of any kind, lines of credit, stuff like that. But we'll see what they say. maybe it'll slow down. We'll give everybody a bit of a break because it's tough. Tough out there. Anyways. So thanks for, I'll refresh it one more time and we'll see if we can get a update. No, nothing yet. Nothing yet. But let's see if we can find one more piece of good news to end the stream on. There's always maybe something decent. It's always hard to find good news. No. Oh, all good news. I don't know. I have to look and see when the next inflation report for Canada is out. It must be out pretty soon, right? For September. We'll see. With the Bank of Canada coming up in October 26th, we'll have to see what happens with the rates. Anyways, so we're coming up 9 o'clock, everybody. Thanks for joining. So thanks to Joel for joining I believe first time. So thanks for your comments. Always appreciated everybody that leaves comments and questions. We really had a lot of fun today. So thanks for Joel. Thanks for Justin checking in again. It was great to have you in. Catching us before you had to go to work, I think, but definitely appreciate it. Hopefully, if you wanted to catch the rest of it, you can always catch the replay. It'll be posted on the channel, as you know, so you'll be there. And we also had Bill. So thanks, Bill, for joining as the first time. Always appreciated, a new viewer and commenter. And last but not least, we had Jason on, and always appreciated as you join in the morning. And as well, thanks to my friend Rob for coming on and having a chit chat in the morning. Hopefully you found that useful. It's always kind of fun to have a bit of a banter, and we'll try and set up a few more guests and some friends and colleagues and stuff to come on to change the conversation a little bit. Is always kind of good. You're not just listening to me ramble on about things, but as much as I like doing that as well. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch up on the next live stream. I will promise to do a portfolio update of the TFSA very shortly. We'll do these live streams because these are a lot of fun, and we'll get the update. I haven't done any new deposits. I do always share if I do a purchase during the week. I will share over on my community tab. I'll post what I've purchased, so you can check that out if you're interested. So you'll kind of get the first update will typically go there, so you'll know. So you can, if you're following along and subscribed, you can just head over to the community tab and check that out. You'll get that posted on. If you're subscribed, you'll get that posted on your stream sometimes as well to see. And that is all. This posted replay will be on the channel, so you can check it out. If you are able to join me live, we'll start scheduling these a little bit ahead of time when I'm going to go on. So check out if you aren't getting notifications. Check on that notification bell, and then you'll get notified when one does get posted. So if you're around, you can actually click and be able to join on, and you'll get reminded when it goes live. It'll pop up. So just a way to kind of find it out. It's great to have everybody joining. Live is always more fun to watch a live stream live than on the replay. So we'll leave it at that. Thanks, everybody. It's coming up 9 o'clock. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.